What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with another event video guide for you all. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming event, as you can see in the screenshot here, being the Rock and Roll that was released on Marvel Strike Force's blog. And as you see with this event, it actually does start in a few days here, being the Friday on January the 14th, as we get the first opportunity to unlock Spider-Punk as the last and final addition to the Web Warriors roster. So you can see with the breakdown here that there is going to be 3 modes essentially. If you guys have never done this event before, these type of events are usually one of the best ways to really unlock free-to-play characters. We generally get a really good mileage in terms of what's released for the shards. Also, additionally, the orbs provide other character shards as well. So I mean, that's just really nice to know, and as well being able to prepare and bolster our roster. But you can see the 3 modes are being easy, medium, and hard. And really respectively, you know, it really is based on the commander level you have these unlocked. But the one to note is the hard mode here, which ultimately grants you the most amount of fragments and shards for unlocking Spider-Punk. But as you can see, the notable requirement for this is that you need actually 5 characters with the limited time Rebel trait. So that's really important to note. We're going to be going through some reviews of the character rosters there, key recommendations. But before diving in, I do want to also show you guys this screenshot here, which I have been using now for the better part of over a year here, just in terms of tracking. But you can see highlighted at the very top is essentially all the characters that have been released via events, so very similar to this. And generally speaking, they do a really good job of releasing powerful characters for our usage, and as well the event dates you can see here and the rank that I achieved. So you can see here Cersei, Silver Samurai, Deathpool, so forth. Some very powerful characters in the game, as well as what I used in terms of the power core usage to unlock what I did. So consistently, you can see here that by refreshing the 450 power cores per day over the span of the 14 days that the event usually runs for, generally you can end up with a 4 yellow. If you push beyond the 50 cores, that's when you can have a really good chance of getting the 5 yellow, as you see here, as noted in Deathpool and Kestrel, which I deemed as a very powerful character at the time. So to be perfectly honest, Spider-Punk is going to be used likely in the long term for the Web Warriors, so I very well may be using the 4x50s and as well as the 4x100s. And just for those of you watching that aren't aware of what I'm talking about here, I'm going to quickly show you guys. In the top right, you see that I have campaign energy and the ISO 8 energy. So with this event, there is going to be a new energy pool that comes out specifically for this event. So just to demonstrate for visual purposes here, if I try to refresh my ISO 8 energy, you can see that we can refresh for another additional 120 here if I spend the 50 power cores. So with this event, you can actually do it 4 times per day, and then essentially it upgrades to 100 cores afterwards. So what I will do then is I will hit the 4x50s per day, and as well, if you guys choose to go beyond that, completely up to you. But usually standard is the 4x50s. You would then use that energy to farm the remaining nodes. And I know sometimes I get that question of like, I'll just try to show you guys here, for instance. Here you can see that it does cost power cores then to refresh a node, and I generally do not refresh a node. I'll just work my way down. So if we pretend that this is the campaign event right now that's running, I would start with the symbiote node here. I would farm it all the way till it shows the refresh. Then I would resume with the next one being 4/8 and work my way down. And essentially you can do that for all the hard nodes and then go down to medium if that's done. But generally that's my strategy. I don't actually refresh the nodes because I find that it isn't worth it in the long haul, especially when you're spanning out the 14 days. And generally it's best to use the power cores to refresh for energy and then can resume farming the nodes. Now that we've talked about the event overview in terms of what to expect, as well as my guidelines and what I would recommend for farming, we can now dive into the roster recommendations. So with the Rebel roster, generally with the orbs, we're also going to get fragments of these characters, so that's really nice to know. It gives you a snapshot of the characters to expect in the orbs, but as well, you know, the key character recommendations, there's 2 characters I do want to highlight to your guys' attention that you may not be aware of. But additionally, on top of the event that's starting off this week, there's also going to be the Pocket Dimensions that comes out requiring Resolute trait characters. So I'll put a link in the description below to that video if you guys are not sure what I'm referring to, but there are a couple characters that we can use for synergies here. So I want to highlight to your attention Misty Knight. Already, again, she's used in the top defense war, and as well being part of that Heroes for Hire mini boss team. So I think it's a great time to actually invest in her, training her up, especially with this Fresh Horizons event for Scarlet Spider. But she's going to have synergy now, being Resolute and a fellow Rebel that you can use as part of the roster. Next, we also have Scarlet Spider. You know, he's the highlight of this event right now, but he has the notable traits of both Resolute and Rebel. So by building these two characters, you'll be double dipping in both the event for the Pocket Dimensions and as well as this rock and roll event. So those are two characters that I think would add a lot of value if you guys have not invested in them. I definitely plan on bringing up Scarlet Spider in preparation for Pocket Dimensions. Another notable character is Captain America Sam here. You know, he is found generally in the mid game for the Doom Chapter 2. I think he has just so much value. He's one of the best characters in my roster, and even in the end game right now, he's an absolute must to have in the Doom 2 raids, and as well the viability of Dark Dimension going forward. So those three I want to highlight because I think they're really good additions to build. But otherwise, notable team synergies here that you can see is clearly the Astonishing X-Men here. So Jubilee, Iceman, Beast, Kitty Pryde, you got 4 out of the 5 characters here being part of that roster. If you have them built up already, they're going to be in a very good place to push through these nodes. And generally, I find that if you have a team anywhere from 150 to 200k, they're good enough usually for the campaign nodes, pushing all the way through the hard difficulty. So that gives you a sense of about having them each at about 40 to 50k in total power if you guys aren't as built up as I am. Other strong additions to this team would be the notable addition of Ghost Spider. Yes, she's new to the game, but if you can build her up, her Web Warriors is already dominating Doom 2 raids for the bio nodes, and they're going to have a lot of mileage going forward in the future if there's Doom 3 raids or even Dormammu raids. So that's really notable. Some players might have access to Deathpool. Again, she was released via event as well, but those of you new to the game may not have her just because once you miss that event, generally they never come back. So, but very powerful character, one of the best in Doom 2 for the Mystic nodes. High recommendation there as well. I see synergies of Phyla-Vell and Moondragon here being part of the Infinity Watch. So if you have her and as well as Moondragon, I imagine that they may already be built up due to the Infinity Watch meta here. But, you know, very good value right there as well. Other strong additions would be, you know, I like Cloak and Ghost. Cloak is very strong right now in the Doom 2 raids. He's got Dark Dimension viability. Build him up as he can be a fellow Rebel that can assist. He can inflict a lot of negative conditions. I personally use Ghost in Dark Dimension. She has a lot of value there, but she's self-sustaining, you know. She can reduce the turn meter. She's got really good dodge percentage, and she can also inflict negative conditions. So I like her kit overall. And that essentially is who I recommend right now. Even if you have partially the X Factor built up in Shatterstar and Polaris, who you see here, they're both really good characters. They're needed for the Adam Warlock Mythic Legendary unlock. So I would recommend these two as well if you have them already built up. Omega Red, as amazing as he is, he just may not be available for everyone. So I don't know. I would obviously recommend if you got him, especially him being part of that Resolute tag as well. But I understand that not everyone will have him unlocked just because he is a Mythic Legendary as well. So that's really bottom up in terms of who I would recommend right now, you guys, in terms of what I can see and value in terms of providing dividends in the long run, especially if you guys build them up now for, you know, Pocket Dimensions, as well as this rock and roll event, and even in the end game ultimately. So hope you guys enjoyed this insight. Hope this prepares you and assists in your guys' preparation for the event. Thank you as always, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.